Okay, first off, some ground rules. I'm not talking comics, because we'd be here all day, and frankly, I don't have time to explain Jerry the chain-smoking synthetic xenomorph. This is strictly canon from the movies and TV show. If you want me to talk about the expanded universe, let me know in the comments, and maybe I'll get on that for you, as a treat. But for now, let's dig into some wild alien moments. Starting off, how about that scene in episode 2 of Alien Earth with the French costume party? This is a moment that right off the bat demands a question or two. For example, what the heck are they doing partying after a very large ship crash-landed into their building? I get that they're jerks and probably high on all kinds of futuristic drugs, but it seems like a stretch that seemingly the entire party is still going down. I guess it does kind of go down in the sense of death. Anyway, the wild moment here comes down to what happens after the apartment's owner turns hermit and his friend/xenofood away while they attempt to evacuate the building. First, there's that excellent shot of the xenomorph in the background, followed by a truly gruesome death for that poor soldier. I think his name is Bergefeld? That leads to the Xeno throwing Bergefeld's body into Hermit, who winds up trapped under the body, while our very expedient alien absolutely decimates this party. All of the deaths are off-screen, but what we see, the remnants of the Xeno's destruction, is a horrific wonder to behold. Alien Resurrection has its fair share of faults, but it does have its fair share of truly wild moments as well. Amongst them has to be the hive that Ripley finds herself sucked into. It's basically a slimy flesh pit where she's transported by a xenomorph to meet with the Queen. It's here that we learn that the alien Queen, which was created using DNA from Ripley herself, actually has a human reproductive system. So there's no need for eggs, leaving Brad Dourif alive and all bound up to monologue about the beauty of procreation. This is also where we see the Queen give birth to the so-called newborn, one of the more distinctive designs in the Alien universe. And looking back, this whole scene is just insane, and it leads, of course, to the moment where Ripley kills the newborn by shooting a hole in the hull of the Betty. Come to think of it, Resurrection as a whole is just one big wild moment. Prometheus, meanwhile, isn't known so much for being particularly wild as much as it's known for doing a lot of world building. A big part of that world building comes down to the life cycle of the xenomorph, which we learn is at least related to this weird black goo. There's still debate over exactly where the goo came from and whether the xenomorphs predated, but that's neither here nor there. When David is experimenting with the goo, he poisons Charlie with it, and after he and Elizabeth Shaw have sex, she's in turn impregnated with something. We're not really given a full explanation, as the goo works differently within different hosts, but it basically creates a proto-facehugger called a Trilobite. Before it can work its way out of Shaw, however, she uses a med pod to remove the creature and seemingly kills it by decontaminating the med pod. Unbeknownst to her, the creature survives and grows to extraordinary size, much to the chagrin of the engineer, who winds up subdued and impregnated by the huge squid-like alien. That alien bursting out and attacking the engineer is a wild moment for everyone involved and results in the proto-xenomorph birthed at the end of Prometheus. One of my favorite moments in the Alien franchise is actually in the frequently maligned Alien Covenant, a film which I think gets a bad rap. While it's chock full of outrageous moments like the Backburster and the gloriously homoerotic flute lesson between David and Walter, it's actually the final moments of Covenant that I think most broke my brain. After a thrilling finale in which Daniels defeats the Predomorph that had been birthed on board the Covenant, our heroine goes to enter cryosleep with the help of the android Walter. Or so she thinks. It's only when Walter doesn't recall a conversation he had with Daniels that she realizes he's actually David. But by then it's too late. Cryo puts her under, while David creepily says, "Don't let the bedbugs bite."
Don't let the bedbugs bite.
It's one of the most nightmarish moments in the whole franchise, and a wild way for Covenant to end. On this whole list, I tried to stick to wild moments that elicited a positive reaction, moments that, though perhaps a little dumb, at least put a smile on my face. The opening of Alien 3, however, is not one of those. Perhaps the most WTF plot beat in all of the Alien franchise has to be when we find out that Newt and Hicks were killed aboard the Sulaco's escape pod during a crash landing on Fiorina 161. It's a horrific and dark ending for both of these characters, and felt like a bit of a bait and switch for fans who expected the beloved characters from Aliens to at least make it into the first act. Instead, they're just killed off screen. It's kind of a bummer. Alien 3 as a whole is a pretty nihilistic flick, so in a way killing off Newt and Hicks might feel like the right way to go thematically. However, it seems like the real reasoning behind the decision was specific to each character. In the case of Hicks, it was most likely due to the filmmakers wanting to embrace Ripley as the lead character and not seeing much use for a secondary lead to do going forward. With Newt, actress Carrie Henn had grown significantly in the years between Aliens and Alien 3, so most likely she would have had to have been replaced anyway, something audiences would have likely rejected. Screenwriter Vincent Ward, who turned in one of several drafts for Alien 3, originated the killing of Newt and had simply done it because the character annoyed him. Whatever the final reasoning was for ditching Hicks and Newt, I think we can all at least agree that it's a pretty wild moment in the franchise. Then there's the pump your fist hurrah moment that is Ripley delivering her classic line to the alien queen, "Get away from her, you bitch."
Get away from her, you bitch!
This moment occurs at the tail end of Aliens, when Newt is being stalked by the Queen, and Ripley, problem-solving like the best of them, decides the best option is to use a power loader to battle the giant xenomorph. The whole fight is one big wow moment, of course, and it's incredibly cool to see Ripley battle the Queen and send her off into space. What really makes it for me, though, is that initial line read from Sigourney Weaver. It's just really badass. Of course, I've got to pull a cheap shot for number one. It's got to go to Kane's surprising demise in the original Alien. If you go into that movie spoiler-free and haven't been exposed to the pop culture references surrounding this scene, then it is a truly wild surprise to see the chestburster emerge from John Hurt's chest. The moment comes right around the midpoint of Alien, just when it seems as though things are looking up for the crew of the Nostromo. They're eating, having a good time, and then, bam! Mid-sentence, Kane is struck by a horrendous pain and winds up on the table. He goes into convulsions, and with a nerve-shattering crack, the baby xenomorph bursts out, makes a few creepy noises, and immediately skitters away to go grow into a walking, stalking nightmare. Good times. So yeah, those are what I would consider the wildest moments in the mainline Alien franchise. What are your top moments? Let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching ScreenRant.